Good morning, children. Welcome to the new session. In our previous session, we have studied the definition of friction, the cause of friction, and the factors on which frictional force depends. Today, we will be discussing the different types of friction. As you see in the figure, we have three types of friction: static friction, sliding friction, and rolling friction. In static friction, you can see this is applied force towards our right. Static friction will be applied towards our left. Now you look at this. There is no motion. In the first lesson I have told you the word meaning static means it is state of rest. Okay. Here the object is in a state of rest on another surface. It's not moving. Now sliding friction means here again a force is applied and the object is sliding over the surface. Then the sliding friction comes into action. Here you can see there is an applied force and the object is rolling over the surface, and hence the rolling friction comes into action and opposes its rolling. Now we will study in detail about each friction. First we will start with static friction. You can see a boy trying to push a wooden plank. Children, I will give you a simple example. You have a study table in your room. Okay. The legs of the table and the floor of the room are in contact with each other. What is friction? How do we define friction? It is a force which opposes the relative motion between two surfaces which are in contact with each other. So we should have two surfaces and they should be in contact with each other, and there should be a relative motion between the two surfaces. Okay. Now the table is just in a state of rest. It is just lying down, it's not moving. Okay, you are not applying any force on the table. Now there is no static friction between the legs of the table and the floor of the room. Okay, now you wanted to shift the table. You are applying a force on the table. The minute you apply a force on the table, the static friction comes into action. When you apply a force, even if the table is not moving, there is a frictional force which is known as static friction. Why the table is not moving? Because the force you have applied is not sufficient to overcome the frictional force. So what do? You can't do it alone. You call your sister also. She is also coming to help you out. So together you push the table. Okay. Then again you find that you are unable to shift the table. You are applying a force, but still the table is not moving. Again static friction is there in the picture. Static friction opposes your applied force. Okay. Then you have increased the amount of force you are applying. Then the table starts moving. The minute the table starts moving, the static friction will be changed into sliding friction. Okay. So static friction will only occur between two static objects which are at rest, that are not moving even when the force is applied on them. Hope it is clear. If the two objects are simply lying down, there is no static friction. But when you apply a force, and if it is not moving, there is a frictional force which is known as static friction. Okay. For example, when you put a box on the table, it won't experience static friction until you apply a force to slide it, but it still doesn't move. Then it is experiencing the static friction. But when you push the box even harder, the box will move. Now the static friction will be converted into sliding friction. Hope it is clear. That is why here it is written no motion. But the force is there. You are applying a force. That is the condition for the application of static friction. You should apply a force, but the object will not move. Okay. When there is no motion and when we are applying a force, static friction comes into action. Okay. Then the definition of static friction. The force required to overcome the friction at the instant an object starts moving from rest is called static friction. Okay. Now here you have two examples. You are applying a force in the forward direction. You can see the irregularities on the floor. Okay, so the frictional force will be acting in the opposite direction. Till the object starts moving, the friction acting on the object is static friction. It is opposing or resisting force between two solid surfaces. But there should be a force applied on the object. Okay, hope it's clear. Now sliding friction. Okay, you can see that. So now the applied force is enough to overcome the static friction. The body has started moving. So when one body slides over the surface of another body, the resistance to its motion is called sliding friction. Okay, now the force required to keep the object moving with the same speed on the surface of another object is a measure of sliding friction. You have to just understand, once the body starts moving, okay, the frictional force applied on the object in the opposite direction, that is known as sliding friction. You can give it in a very simple word. When one body slides over the surface of another body, the resistance to its motion is called sliding friction. Okay, you know, in the park we all must have experienced the sliding motion. When you slide, the whole body is in contact with the smooth surface. Okay, now the next figure you can see the same object is fixed with wheels. Now the object is not sliding, it is rolling. Okay, so when one body rolls over the surface of another body, the resistance, the opposition to its motion is called rolling friction. Okay, here you can see a wheel is rolling over the surface. We are applying a force on the wheel and the wheel is rolling forward, and the frictional force is acting in the opposite direction, which is known as rolling friction. So children, there are three types of friction: static friction, sliding friction and rolling friction. Static friction is the frictional force which plays its role when the two objects are in a state of rest but an external force is applied on the object. The minute the object starts moving, static friction will be converted into sliding friction. When an object slides over the surface of another body, the opposition or the frictional force acting on it is called sliding friction. Okay. Similarly, when an object rolls over the surface of another body, the opposition to its motion is called rolling friction. Okay. Out of these three types of friction, which is greater? You can just guess it. It is very difficult to apply force and start the motion of the object. Okay, so always static friction is greater than sliding friction. Once it starts moving, the two sliding objects find less time to get interlocked against each other. We have studied in the previous class. This frictional force is due to the interlocking of irregularities on both the surfaces. When you start the motion of an object, we have to apply a large amount of force to overcome this interlocking of irregularities. Once it starts moving, the interlocking will be less because the objects find less time to get interlocked against each other. Okay, so sliding friction is always less than static friction. Then, of course, when the wheels are connected, okay, the rolling friction is always less than sliding friction. Okay, so which is the greatest one? Static friction is greater than sliding friction. Sliding friction is greater than rolling friction. So the magnitude of static friction has the highest value and the magnitude of rolling friction has the lowest value. So this is the order. Okay, this is in the descending order from large to small. Static friction greater than, sliding friction greater than, rolling friction. Okay, now how do we measure force? I think all of you must be having a spring balance at home. Okay, here there is a hook for the spring balance where we can hang it, and at the bottom also there is a hook where we can hang the object. We wanted to find out the weight of this object or the force applied on this object. Okay, weight means it is a force exerted on the object by the gravitational pull of earth. Okay, now there will be a spring inside this which can get extended when we hang the object, and there is a scale You can see 0 is written here, then 10, which means each division is 1. What is the unit of force? Unit of force is Newton. So each division is 1 Newton. Okay, so this is 10 Newton, this is 20 Newton, 30 Newton, 40 Newton, 50 Newton. This line, the middle line between 40 and 50 is 45 Newton. Okay, the third line below 30 is 33 Newton. Okay, now if you have it at home after this class, you can hang different objects and see what is the weight of it. Okay, now when you hang an object here, the spring will get elongated and there is a pointer attached to that spring. So this pointer will show the correct weight or the force applied. In the light class, I can show you the spring balance. Okay, now what are the advantages of friction? Okay, children, in the first class, I have shown you many different examples from our life situations for friction. Okay, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages for friction. Okay, so I have listed out 11 advantages here. You can add up more, you can write any advantages. There is no hard and fast rule that for the examination you should write only these 11 advantages. Okay, but it should be an advantage, that's all. Okay, so what is it? Friction helps us to walk on the floor. Without slipping, we can walk on the floor because of friction. Okay, then there is a frictional force between the tires of the vehicles and the road. That is why we can slow down vehicles, we can stop the vehicle. Then the brakes of the vehicles work due to friction. Then when we are writing with pen or pencil on the paper, it is because of friction we are able to do it. Then it helps to support ladder against wall. Okay, then we can hold things in our hands due to friction, otherwise it will slip down from our hand. Then lighting a matchstick, by striking the matchstick on the matchbox, we can light the matchstick because of friction. Okay, then if there is no friction, an object which is moving would never stop. It will be moving throughout. Okay, now without friction, no building would be constructed. Now we can fix a nail on the wall because of friction. Then we can tie a knot on a thread because of friction. This you can try at home. You take a cotton thread and a silk thread and try to make a knot on both the threads and see which is easy to do. Okay, so children, all these are advantages of friction and you can add up your own advantages. Okay, then friction has got some disadvantages also. Okay, the first disadvantage we have already told. An object which is moving on a surface, it comes to rest its own because of friction. And friction's main job is to oppose the motion and to reduce the speed. So it is one of the disadvantages. Friction opposes the motion of an object and reduces its speed. Then second one, friction produces unwanted heat energy. Children, you ask your mother, the mixer grinder in which we grind rice, urdu dal and all. After using the mixer grinder for some time, the jar gets heated. Sometimes we switch it off, give some rest to the mixie and then only we will start again. Okay, all the machinery parts, when it works for some time, it will become hot. And when you apply brakes to a car suddenly, I have told you, we will be getting a burning smell and the tire will become hot. Sometimes fire also will be produced. Okay, so this friction produces unwanted heat energy. Then another thing, friction causes wear and tear of objects and machinery parts. Okay, again we take the example of mixer grinder. After using the same blade for many years, the sharpness of the blades will get reduced. What is the reason? Because of friction, wear and tear take place. Okay, the blades, the edges will become smooth. Okay, then another example, the shoes which you are wearing. If you are wearing the same shoes, your uniform shoes for 2-3 years, okay, the grooves on the sole of the shoes will disappear and it will become smooth and you may slip. The tires, okay, the treadings on the tires will disappear after 4 or 5 years. That is why we have to change the tires after 5-6 years. Otherwise the tires will become smooth and the vehicle may skid because there won't be any friction between the tires and the road. Chances are there the vehicle may skid. Fourth point, friction causes wastage of energy. Actually, the second point and fourth point can be connected. When there is unwanted heat energy produced, the useful energy is wasted in the form of heat. Okay, now children, for the wear and tear, I can give you another example. Your eraser. In the beginning of the academic year, you get a new eraser. After using it for few months, it will become small. Why? On rubbing it on the paper or in your notebook, wear and tear takes place and it becomes small. Okay, so children, the disadvantages of friction. Okay, advantages you have many, but disadvantages are these four. Okay, if you want to join the second point and the fourth point, friction produces unwanted heat energy and causes wastage of energy, it's fine, you can do that, you can club these 2 points. Okay, now we call friction as a necessary evil. Children, you know evil means it is always negative, which is harmful. Okay, but we say friction is a necessary evil. Why? Because friction is necessary because it is useful to us in many ways. Without friction, we cannot survive in this world because almost all our activities depends on the frictional force. So it is necessary, it is useful. But at the same time, it's an evil because it has got many disadvantages. It is harmful to us in many ways. So we say that friction is a necessary evil because it has got many advantages. At the same time, it has got few disadvantages also. So we call it as a necessary evil. So children, we have studied about 3 different types of friction and we have studied many advantages and 4 disadvantages of friction, and we call friction as a necessary evil because it has got many advantages, so it's useful to us, but it has got few disadvantages, so it is harmful to us. So at the same time, it is good and bad, so we call it as a necessary evil. Now here there is a small question. Okay, a spring balance was used to measure the force needed to pull a wooden block across different surfaces. That is, a wooden block is kept on 4 different surfaces, which are the surfaces carpet, marble floor, polished wood and doormat. And using a spring balance, the force required to pull the wooden block is measured. And this is the force needed to just start motion. On a carpet, we need to apply 8 Newton force. On a marble floor, we need to apply 4 Newton force. And on a polished wood, we need to apply 5 Newton force. And a doormat, we need to apply 10 Newton force. Okay, children, we have told friction is due to the irregularities on the surface of the object. When the irregularities on both the surface get interlocked, friction comes into action. And you have already studied rough surfaces will have more friction because there will be more irregularities. Now you check the surfaces: carpet, marble floor, polished wood, doormat. Out of these 4, which is the surface having maximum smoothness? Of course, it will be marble floor. When the smoothness is more, number of irregularities are less, interlocking will be less, so friction will be less. That is why the magnitude of force is minimum here. Then polished wood. Okay, only 5 Newton force. Then carpet. Carpet is actually a rough surface. There will be many irregularities. Okay, so we have to apply 8 Newton force. Doormat. It's again very rough. Okay, so the number of irregularities will be more. So we have to apply a force of 10 Newton. Now the question is, in which of the surfaces is the friction greatest? So how do you check? You have to check the amount of force applied. Because only if sufficient amount of force is applied, we can overcome the friction. So here 10 Newton of force is applied. So here the friction is greatest. Okay, in which of the surfaces is the friction least? Friction is least on marble floor. Only 4 Newton has to be applied. and you can make out it's a very smooth surface, and the irregularities will be less in number, so interlocking will be less. What do the above values show, static or sliding friction? How do we know that? Static friction is the friction when the objects are in a state of rest. Okay, so here it is given force needed to just start motion, which means it is the static friction. Once it starts moving, static friction will be changed into sliding friction. Okay children, I am winding up. Hope it is clear. The three different types of friction, then their magnitude. Static friction is greater than sliding friction is greater than rolling friction. Then some advantages and disadvantages of friction. Then why do we call friction as a necessary evil? Okay, go through the video and read your textbook also. Understand the concepts well. See you in the live class. Thank you.